Interactive. I don't want any of that. Welcome to the 80s Abridged radio play.
You may be asking yourself, hey, what even is the 80s Abridged radio play?
Great question. Let me ask you, have you ever wanted to watch the classic 80s movies that everyone loves, but you just don't have the time?
What even is time anymore?
Well, in that case, why not let a group of comedians tell you an abridged version of the 80s movies you don't have time to watch with a bit of commentary and a lot of sass?
Sounds amazing. Let's begin.
But wait, because in this version, we have to let folks know that even though this movie is rated PG-13, it's kind of dirty.
So consider yourself warned.
Imagine a world where babies can speak.
What would they say?
What would they think?
What insight would their innocent minds bring to our complicated world?
What simple logic would they apply to our troubled times? Join us.
Join us.
Join us to discover who's talking.
We open on the fallopian tubes.
An egg tumbles to and fro.
A journey of destiny toward the safety and warmth of the uterine wall. And from this disturbing image,
Cut to
The swirling orange contents of a lava lamp.
Such a gross transition.
we zoom out to discover masculine hands clutching a delicate knee.
A tasteful skirt suit drawn up and the client's attentions wandering away from the advice of his accountant and toward getting into her pants.
Stop, Albert, stop. I can't do this anymore. I love you, Albert, but you're married. So I think you should just work with a different accountant.
You know I'm leaving, Beth. It just takes time. We talked about it this weekend, but every time I mention the word divorce, she loses 5 pounds.
I'm sorry she's bulimic, but I cannot spend the rest of my life waiting for you, Albert. I'm going to tell Mr. Ross to give your account to someone else.
I won't let him. I'll never let anyone else touch my books.
The couple succumbs to the tempting pull of forbidden love.
the calculator clicks and chirps away under their disturbing passion.
Round, round, get around,
I get around, I get around.
Get around.
I get around.
As the title card comes up on screen,
So do thousands of sperm.
Squirming and slip-sliding around what only we can assume would be Molly the accountant's nether regions.
We, the cast of 80s Abridged, gives you
look who's talking.
We continue following the sperm on their path to victory.
They cheer, hoot and holler. These sperm are sure having a great time.
Ho ho!
Hey guys.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead.
hey guys, I know where we're going. It's down over here. Come on.
Could that be the silky smooth voice of Bruce Willis?
Hey, can you imagine? The 1980s favorite action hero, the voice of a cheeky little sperm? Hilarious.
And soon he will become the voice of an adorable fetus that can't even hold a gun. What a twist!
The herd of enthusiastic potential human beings round a corner, which I'm not sure is medically accurate, and there it is.
The egg.
Here we go. Oh boy, I'm in. Here we go.
Lightning flashes inside the tiny egg.
Life is created. Cut to an overhead view of a toilet,
Which is swiftly obscured by the top of Kirstie Alley's head as she barfs all over the place. Molly's best friend Rona stands outside the stall applying lipstick with a brush. Are you okay?
Gosh, this best friend sure is adorable.
She is sassy and sharp as a tack.
She's street smart, but also business savvy.
She knows her way around big shoulder pads, so we know she's fashion forward and oh so modern.
But she's also got curly hair.
What?
Red curly hair.
Gross.
So we know for sure that she's not a threat to our leading lady.
Rona teases her hideous hair as Molly emerges from the bathroom stall.
You look lousy, doll.
Trying to kick that stomach flu that's been going around.
Stomach flu? What stomach flu? Nobody has the stomach flu.
They don't?
No, nobody is sick.
Cut to
Molly's parents' house, where everyone sits around the dining room table with calculators. They're a whole family of accountants. How adorable.
Miss Popularity over here. How do you expect to meet a man if you never go out?
A family of unsupportive accountants. How adorable.
I was studying for the CPA exam when there were hardly any women accountants, and I still managed to dress nice and catch your father.
Ma, what would you have done if Daddy was married when you first met him?
I wouldn't have fallen in love with him.
Seems reasonable.
But you don't control who you fall in love with.
Why not?
You just can't.
Listen to me. You take your father here. What's his favorite food?
Cheesecake.
But what did the doctor tell him?
To avoid cholesterol.
So now he doesn't eat cheesecake. It's the exact same thing.
Cut to
Molly in the bathroom clutching a pregnancy test.
No.
yes.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Luckily, Albert seems to be quite happy about the baby news. This baby's gonna be great. We'll get him a little toy adding machine and little Armani diapers. Say, what are you gonna, tell people?
Don't worry. I'm going to tell people I got artificially inseminated.
Cut to
Artificially inseminated? How could you do such a thing?
Ma, I thought you'd be happy for me.
So that's it. You and the frozen pop are having a baby?
Ma, it's not a frozen pop.
Well, it's not a husband.
Guess what, everybody? It's time for a montage.
Molly slides the dial up along the scale. Up and up and up it goes.
Molly listens to the heartbeat through a stethoscope. How barbaric.
Molly shows off ultrasound images to her best friend Rona, as well as the only person of color we see in this entire movie.
Albert gives Molly an adorable baby outfit, which he holds against her growing belly.
The dial slides up and up and up along the scale again.
Molly and Rona struggle to assemble a crib.
Back to the scale.
Molly and Rona struggle to assemble an infant swing.
Back to the scale.
Hey, this says that by 17 weeks you should be able to identify a vulva or a penis. Oh, how cute.
Hey, look at that. I got another little arm growing down there. What the heck is that thing doing down there? Now, how am I going to get that in my mouth?
Cut to Molly out shopping with Rona, who's trying on dresses in the middle of the aisle.
disgusting.
What a red-headed monster.
Suddenly, they notice giggles emanating from the bidding room that Rona is too much of a horrible jackass to use for trying on clothes.
The sexy couple spills out of the dressing room. It's Albert and...
Another woman?
Oh, Molly, let me explain.
Albert, what's going on?
Molly, I've fallen in love. Beth knows about it, and I'm gonna live with Melissa. I don't know if this'll last or what, but I had to act on it, Molly. I know this sounds awful, but I'm going through a selfish phase right now.
And of course, just at that moment, Molly goes into labor.
She hails a cab, and luckily for her and for all of us, the driver is a sexy, young, pre-Scientology John Travolta.
They zip and zoom through New York traffic like a bat out of hell. The charming Travolta shouting insults at the other drivers as they pass.
Hey, why don't you pull over until the lewds wear off?
That only makes sense in the 80s.
Molly yells at Travolta. Travolta yells at the cars. It's a meet cute meant for 80s cinema heaven.
Travolta swerves through several construction zones and onto many sidewalks, nearly killing dozens of people as he lectures Molly on the merits of Lamaze breathing.
Hey, do you want me to call your husband?
I don't have a husband.
Okay then, your boyfriend?
If you must know the details of my life, I was artificially inseminated.
What are you, a lesbo?
These are actual lines from the movie, everybody.
Finally, they arrive at the hospital. By some crazy random happenstance, Travolta is allowed to just basically hang out while she wallows in labor pain and begs everyone for drugs.
The doctors, the nurses, and even John Travolta deny her this simple request and judge her harshly for having the balls to even ask for such a selfish and disgusting thing as drugs to ease the pain of her labor.
Finally, someone agrees to give her a shot of Demerol to ease the pain.
Give me a lot of it. I don't want it to wear off while I'm in labor. And then give me more than you give most women, because I think I'm in a lot more pain than most of your patients.
Meanwhile, in the womb, baby Mikey is totally stoned.
Whoa, that's more like it. Hey, it's Mr. Hand. Wow, now that's very cosmic. Whoa. Hey, what's that bright light down there? Hey, oh, I'm falling. Whoa.
Finally, Mikey comes into the world.
No. Put me back in. Who are you? It's cold out here. Lady, put me back in.
So you're the one who's been kicking me.
Well, you're the one who ate all that spicy food. This has got to be the weirdest thing that has ever happened to me, at least so far.
Meanwhile, back in the nursery, because you see, back in the 80s, what they would do was they would take your baby away from you and essentially put it in a big cage full of other babies where the parents would just stand behind glass and, like, look at them. So weird.
A baby wearing mittens.
My thumbs! Where are my thumbs? I can't find my thumbs!
An Indian baby.
I didn't think I'd get reincarnated this quickly.
A baby who has lost her pacifier.
I need my sucky thing. Where's my sucky thing?
Look at all those daddies over there, making goo-goo faces and taking pictures. Well, you won't find your father here. I really messed things up for you. I don't want you to worry, because I'm going to find you a daddy. I'm going to go out there and find you the best daddy there is.
Back at home, Travolta has stopped by to collect his cab fare and return the purse Molly left behind in his cab.
Hey, little buddy, how you liking New York City?
It's my kind of town.
Molly and John Travolta have a total moonlighting vibe going on, but Travolta and Mikey get along famously.
Guess what, everybody? It's time for another montage.
Molly is awoken over and over again by the cries of her newborn son.
Molly mistakenly pours coffee into the baby bottle and checks his temperature on her wrist. Hilarious. She's exhausted.
Molly tries to hail a cab while carrying a whole bunch of baby crap, and no one will stop for her. How fun.
Mikey cries in a swing.
Mikey cries in a high chair.
Mikey cries in a stroller.
Finally, Molly sits sobbing on a couch while suffering clearly from postpartum depression.
That's it. You have some rare exotic baby disease. And I look like I could play the lead in the Night of the Living Dead. And your father left us so he could pork some interior designer. I think you can safely say that it can't get any worse.
Cut to
John Travolta is in the lobby of Molly's apartment building trying to jimmy an envelope out of her mail slot.
At first, we think he's being a big weirdo.
But luckily, Travolta explains that the whole thing is just an adorable misunderstanding.
See, what he's really doing is trying to get his dear old grandfather into a better nursing home using her address to establish residency.
Molly and Travolta strike a delicate bargain wherein he will babysit Mikey in exchange for her help in this illegal gerrymandering maneuver. What fun!
Following a hilarious argument over the merits of napping and the work of Dr. Spock, Molly falls asleep at the table out of sheer exhaustion.
In a really sweet moment, Travolta scoops her up and lays her in bed to nap.
Then, displaying very poor personal judgment, Travolta takes baby Mikey out on the town.
Travolta keeps asking the child, the infant baby, if it can say things.
Can you say deal?
No.
Can you say cab?
No.
Can you say driving?
No.
The unlikely duo head to an airfield,
where we encounter a very bosom receptionist.
What a sweet baby. Is he yours?
Yeah, but we don't know who the mother is.
Really?
Nah, I'm joking.
Baby Mikey ogles the woman's breasts.
Hang on, they make these in different sizes? What are these, jumbos?
Look at you staring. You must be thinking the same thing I am.
Haha, lunch.
Most importantly, we learn of Travolta's real ambition, which is to become a commercial airline pilot. Meanwhile,
Molly wakes from her nap to find baby Mikey missing. Of course, she panics and calls the cops.
Travolta and Mikey return home, oblivious to the obvious distress they have put Molly into.
Honey, I'm home.
So am I.
My baby! Oh, my sweetie, sweetie, sweetie!
Aw, the mama and the baby.
Molly hauls off and socks Travolta in his chiseled, perfect jaw. He flies across the room in shock.
You stupid, stupid, stupid!
Molly proceeds to beat him about the head with a dish towel.
I called the police! I was worried out of my mind!
What the heck? Why? You knew I was with him.
Molly moves on to assaulting Travolta with a broom.
How do I not know you're a kidnapper? Do you read milk cartons?
I was babysitting.
That means the baby stays here and you sit. Oh, damn it.
What? What now?
I got a splinter.
Their distress seemingly past, Travolta helps her remove the splinter. We cut to the hallway where Ma approaches, oblivious to what's happening inside.
Which makes for a hilarious opportunity for misunderstanding as she overhears the following phrases out of context.
Get it out.
I'm trying to.
You're poking me. It hurts.
It wouldn't hurt if you weren't wiggling around so much.
How would you know? It's stuck in me.
There it is. It's a big one.
I've never had one that big in me.
Mom stands shocked in horror when Travolta exits and coincidentally zips up his fly. Hilarious.
So clever.
Guess what, everyone? It's time for a montage.
Mikey eats a bowl of spaghetti and it's all over him.
Mikey looks down at his feet. Adorable.
Mikey examines himself in the mirror. He doesn't have object permanence. Who's that other baby?
Molly marks Mikey's height on the wall, and then, dissolve cut, he's suddenly a whole year old.
1-year-old Mikey eats a plate of spaghetti. It's all over him. Hilarious.
Mikey and Travolta watch basketball. They cheer.
Mikey and Molly hold a baby lamb together.
Molly does accounting business at the kitchen table with a young couple, while Mikey uses a toy adding machine nearby.
Cut to
Mikey needs a father. I keep going out with all these guys and nothing's working out.
you gotta find someone you have something in common with. Take me and Daddy. We're both accountants. We both like to eat at diners. We both like to go to the movies. There you go. I just thought of someone perfect for you.
Ma, not another setup.
He's perfect. He's in Daddy's firm. He's an accountant.
Cut to an accountant picking Molly up for their date. Well, hello. Your mother didn't tell me you were so beautiful.
Well, this is my son, Michael. I gotta finish getting ready, so you just make yourself comfortable.
Hi, little guy.
Who's this Yutz?
You, watching TV?
Yeah.
And then Mikey and this man proceed to argue over what channel to watch, football or the Downy fabric softener bear.
It's funny because they're men, and fighting over the remote control is what men do. However, it's also chilling because this is a grown man fighting over the remote control with a child, which seriously calls his potential parenting skills into question.
Dick.
Meanwhile,
Travolta arrives to babysit Mikey.
Travolta sabotages Molly's date by giving the accountant, who won't let a child watch a teddy bear on television, a series of misleading instructions such as, Molly hates it when men try to pick up the check.
Molly hates it when men open the door for her.
Molly hates it when men give her compliments or are nice to her. So she's liberated?
Liberated? I'm a guy babysitter. Come on.
The date goes disastrously as the accountant proceeds to describe the details of his irritable bowel syndrome over the appetizers.
It's like a bloated, leaky, gassy feeling.
Meanwhile,
Travolta makes teddy bears dance.
It's charming, childlike, and endearing.
cue contractually obligated Travolta dancing.
Mikey and Travolta dance all over the place.
We have to assume they've been doing this adorable dancing for hours and hours and hours.
Meanwhile, Molly and the accountant are walking back to the door. You know, I have to say, I think most men would be threatened by a woman who likes to pay for everything, but not me. I think it's great.
Yeah, I bet you do.
The accountant goes in for a kiss.
Come on. Come on.
No, I really have to go in now.
No means no, accountant.
Come on, Molly. It's early.
Yeah, but I'm broke.
She finally ditches him and heads home to Mikey and Travolta.
The house is a mess, which makes Molly furious.
But then she discovers Mikey and Travolta all tuckered out from hours of solid dance partying, dozing adorably on the couch. It's so sweet.
Cut to
The next day, or it could be several months later, who can say?
Molly does a sexy dance with a bowl of pudding, trying to entice Mikey into eating it. She runs the spoon up and down her body and grinds a dish towel.
So disturbing. Travolta watches from the doorway as Molly humps the fridge.
What is wrong with these people?
Travolta bursts into the room, grabs this child's mother, and starts grinding.
They are doing this disgusting strip cheese for a child.
Hey, watch this, Mikey.
He forces Molly's hand around his waist and dips her passionately, nearly ending in a kiss.
We should not do this in front of Mikey.
You are correct.
Hey, you want to get some lunch? I must know about 20 ways to get free lunch in this city, and I never pay for DLs.
I'm afraid to ask.
We all are afraid of the answer.
Long distance phone calls. You know, I wouldn't still be driving a cab if I could make more money as a flight instructor. Do you want to go flying with me? I'll pretend it's a maintenance flight. We'll get it for free.
You get everything for free.
I know. Picture it. Even if we were poor, we would still live like kings.
Later that evening, while lying Mikey to rest, Molly and Travolta finally kiss.
But just as Travolta prepares to take her gently to that bone zone, Molly's mind begins to wander. Cue dream sequence!
Molly is wearing a filthy house dress, her hair up in curlers as she slaves over a hot stove, new baby in one arm, and the cigarette dangling from her lip. 3 other children wreak havoc in a smoke-filled room.
Travolta bursts through the door, cigarette smoking away, and a gut that won't quit.
Hey, kids, knock it off. Oof, princess, you're making my mouth water. Hey, you guys know that dumpster behind the supermarket? Look what I found, perfectly good head of lettuce. Who wants a surprise? Look, this can. Could be lunch meat, could be peaches. Just because it's free doesn't mean it's no good. Isn't that right, princess?
That's right, honey.
Didn't I tell you we live like kings or what?
Back to the real world.
I can't do this. I gotta think about Mikey.
But I'm crazy about Mikey, and I'm crazy about you.
I'm sorry. Please don't hate me for this. Goodbye.
And she shoves him out the door.
Cut to
The accounting office.
Molly's boss insists that she go back to see Albert and continue to be his accountant.
Please, Molly.
Because plot?
Please, Molly. You have to give me a second chance. These past few months have been like a bad dream. I just feel so guilty.
Albert, you have been such an asshole. If we ever got back together, I'm afraid I would have to torture you for the rest of your life.
That's okay. I want you to.
I'm here to do your taxes, Albert, not talk.
Molly, I know you've been through a lot, but you have to believe that I love you. I never wanted to hurt you, but I realize it worked out that way. Do you have a picture of Mickey?
It's Mikey.
I'm sorry. I'm nervous. I think about you every day. I try to call every day, but I'm just so confused. Could I see him, Molly, please?
cut to
Who's Albert? Is he Mikey's father? You lied to me about the artificial insemination.
He was married. I wasn't supposed to tell anyone.
Do you love him? Do you?
I don't know. I don't know who I love. All that matters is what's best for Mikey. And Albert is successful. He's responsible. He's good with other kids.
I don't want him to see Mikey.
You are not his father.
I'm the closest thing he has to one.
Oh, please, look at you. You're like a big kid. You think you're responsible enough to be a father?
I'm not responsible? You call getting knocked up by a married guy responsible? I've seen you. I've seen you use Mikey to push guys away, and now you're doing it to me. I've had it. Now get out.
I live here.
I know it.
Travolta says a tearful goodbye to Mikey while Molly listens in on the baby monitor.
She's right, Mikey. What do I know about being a father? She said I'm a big kid, and she's right. Look at me. You're 1 year old and probably my best friend in the world. Anyway, I'll miss you.
The next day.
Look, we gotta wrap up this damn movie. So what the heck? Let's put baby Mikey in danger.
Hey, just like the end of Three Men and a Baby.
And Adventures in Babysitting.
And Baby's Day Out.
And Willow.
Babies of the 80s were always in extreme danger.
And so, Mikey, as he wanders into traffic chasing a taxi cab, is desperate to find Travolta.
Which leads him to an alleyway where he climbs into a car on the back of a tow truck.
And off he goes, towed down the street while Travolta and Molly chase them in the cab.
Lots more dangerous driving from Travolta leads them to intercept the tow truck.
But Mikey is gone.
Wait, there he is, running through the traffic on streets of Manhattan.
Cars swerve and crash all around him.
Just in the nick of time, Travolta grabs him and wraps Mikey up in his arms.
I can't believe it. He doesn't have a scratch on him. I better take him to the hospital in case he has internal injuries.
Nah, he's a tough kid.
Thanks for all your help.
Dada?
He said Dada.
I think he called you Dada.
No, I'm talking to hear myself speak.
He must think that you are his dada.
Well, I've spent enough time with him.
That's true. You spend a lot of time with him.
He probably thinks we're going to end up together.
And then they do!
Hey.
Cut to...
Even more sperm zipping and zooming and be bopping all up in Kirstie Alley's nether regions.
You know what that means.
Wow!
1 year later, Travolta carries Mikey into the delivery room where Molly holds an adorable baby girl.
Mikey, this is your little sister, Julie.
And the voice of Joan Rivers replies, "Don't start with me, kid. I've had a day you wouldn't believe. Can we talk?" The cast of 80s Abridged is Lauren, Bridget, Trisha, Daniel, and Chrissy. We'll see you next time when we bring you another 80s Movies Abridged. In the meantime, please like and subscribe to our page and follow the links to donate or buy gift cards to National Comedy Theater.